What's up, guys? This is Brad Salyer, just coming at you with workout number 3 of the Never Forgotten Games. I will be the head judge, or one of the head judges for this year, and just kind of give you a quick brief of the standards and flow of workout number 3. This workout number 3, is dedicated to Officer Jorge Alvarado. It is 4 rounds. You're going to do, as a team, 10 worm shoulder to overhead, so just shoulder to overhead and switching to the other shoulder, not back to the same shoulder. And then after your team completes 10 worm shoulder overhead, one of the 4 team members is going to then leave underneath the worm, and the other 3 team members are going to sit there and hold the worm, while one partner completes 1 round of a 40-foot handstand walk or 80-foot crab walk, and then 50 double unders or 100 single unders. So both of these movements are to be considered RX as well. It's not a scale, but it is double the amount of work. So if you are not a big handstand walker or double under person, we have those as an option, and you can still get credit for RX. That being said, a couple things as far as everything goes. I will not be demoing the worm, but I can totally show you exactly what I'm talking about. For your worm shoulder to overhead, you can get the worm to your shoulder, however. So if you just want to rip that thing off the ground, if you want a strongman, whatever it is to help you get that thing to your shoulder, go ahead and whatever makes you happy. Second piece is your worm must pass over all of the athletes' heads without making contact with the tops of your heads. So I know the worm is big and it's oblong. It's going to be sitting here like this, and you're going to be all like, what do I do now? It's okay if it touches the side of your head. I cut my ear up too. It happens. But as it's passing over your head, you're not allowed to drop your head. You're not allowed to drag it across the top of your head. It has to clearly make a pass over. You can see daylight in between, and then drop to your other shoulder. And yes, it can touch the side of your head. But we're not going to be rolling it over the back of our neck. We're not going to be dipping under the worm without actually pressing it. If we're like one of those tall teammates, no dipping under it. You actually have to press it over your head. Your judge will be looking for that. Finally, you do not need to reach full lockout for when you're passing overhead. So when you're bringing it up, you don't have to reach full extension. Everyone's different heights. Everyone's arms are different lengths. It's not going to work out great. You just have to make sure that it clears the top of your head without dragging across the top. That's the biggest standard that your judge will be looking for. For your standing worm hold, keyword standing, you can hold your worm any way you want. On your shoulder, you can turn around and like back rack it. You can hold it in the deadlift position, but you must be standing. No squatting is allowed. So you cannot sit there and put it in your hip crease and then squat down and just hang out right there. You must be in a standing position. You can be bent over. That's totally okay. I get it. It's a heavy worm. Then for your handstand walk, your fingers may touch the outside of the outside tape lines, the lines separating your lanes from the person next to you, but it may not cross over those lines. So I did make a rough sketch of what your lane is going to look like. These 2 lines running parallel are going to be our side markers dividing my lane with the next one, and then this will be one of the 10-foot line segments separating. So what I mean by the first standard is you can get to this point where your fingers are touching the line. The tape will be 2 inches thick, so like it's not going to be this thin. We'll be able to see it. There will be a difference. But it cannot cross over into the other lane by any means, whether it's your thumb or your fingers or whatever it is. If you go outside, you're going to have to kick down and go back to the previous 10-foot marker that you reached. Second standard for that is both of your hands must clearly cross over each 10-foot segment before breaking or kicking down. So whether you're finished or you need to take a break halfway through, as I'm doing my handstand walk, I'm going to make sure that I clearly pass over before I drop down. It is okay that my feet fall behind the line. I just need to make sure that my hands cross over the line. And then as I start, my hands need to clearly be behind the line. So there's not going to be any of this game where my fingers like start on the tape. Give yourself an inch or 2. It's not going to be the end of the world. Make sure that your hands start here when you kick up and not here. That will cause you to have to drop down, step back, reset, start again with your hands behind the line. We don't want to have to deal with that. If you're not doing the handstand walk and you're one of the crab walkers, a couple things for you guys. It must be completed forward facing, meaning that your feet are in front of your hands. So you're going to have to be able to see exactly where you're going. One, for safety, to make sure that we're not kicking each other, but two, because that is a standard. Meaning, my feet are in the lead, my hips are up off the ground, not dragging, and I'm walking this direction. I'm not going to be walking this direction where I can't see. You have to be able to see where you're going. Second one, your full body must cross over the line to receive credit. So even though my feet have to start behind the line, I have to completely cross over this line before I can drop, rest, whatever it is. That being said, if I were to start, I have to start with both my hands and my feet behind the line. I cannot start like this and get credit for my handstand walk. Or crab walk, yeah. Last thing for your jump ropes, double unders, you got 50 of them. Single unders, you got 100 of them. They have to be done in the forward direction, meaning that you're swinging the rope forwards and not backwards. For your double unders, we all know they must pass under your feet twice per one single jump, so you jump twice. Those are pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions, more than happy to answer those questions. Any other questions, comments, concerns, anything, please feel free to reach out to the Never Forgotten Games team.